Two pilots died at New York's airport. What really went wrong? On a dark Sunday night, March 23rd, 2026, an Air Canada plane was coming in to land at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. The runway looked clear. The pilots were doing everything right. But at that exact same moment, a giant fire truck was crossing that very same runway. The plane and the fire truck hit each other at nearly 100 miles per hour. The whole front of the plane, where the pilots sit, was completely destroyed. Two pilots were killed. Antoine, aged 30, from the province of Quebec, Canada, and Mackenzie, Gunther, aged 38, from Ontario, Canada. More than 40 other people were injured, including passengers, crew members, and people inside the fire truck. It was a heartbreaking tragedy, and it raises one very important question. How could this possibly happen? What do air traffic controllers do? Before we explain what went wrong, let's understand a very special job, the air traffic controller. Imagine you are in charge of a huge, busy intersection where dozens of cars, buses, and trucks are crossing from every direction, but instead of a stoplight, you only have a radio. You must talk to every single vehicle and tell them, you go now, you wait, you stop, you move left. One wrong instruction, and there's a crash. That is what air traffic controllers do, except the cars are airplanes, and mistakes can be fatal. Air traffic controllers work in a tall glass tower at the airport, and they watch radar screens that show every plane in the sky and every vehicle on the ground. They use radios to talk to pilots and to drivers of ground vehicles like fuel trucks and, yes, fire trucks. They are the referees of the sky and the runway. Every single instruction they give directly affects the safety of real human beings. It is one of the most important, most responsible jobs in the world. A chain of broken links. On the night of March 23rd, investigators found that several problems all happened at exactly the same time, like a chain, where each link was already cracked before anyone noticed. Problem 1, not enough people. There were only 2 air traffic controllers working in the tower that night. For a busy airport like LaGuardia, that is very few. Worse, one of those controllers was doing 2 people's jobs at once, handling both planes flying in the sky and planes waiting at the gates. Think of it like one referee trying to manage 2 football games simultaneously on 2 different fields at the same time. That is almost impossible to do safely. Problem 2, a message nobody could hear. The fire truck was sent to check on a different plane that had reported a strange smell. The controller gave the fire truck permission to cross the runway, but just moments before the crash, a radio message that should have told the truck to stop was blocked because another person transmitted at the exact same instant. When 2 radios broadcast at the same time, they overlap and cancel each other out, like 2 people shouting into the same microphone. Nobody heard the stop. The controller was heard saying, "I messed up," right after the crash. Those words are painful to hear, but as we'll explain, what happened that night was much bigger than one person's mistake. Problem 3, an invisible fire truck. The fire truck had no transponder, a small electronic device that sends a location signal to the radar system. Without a transponder, the safety radar couldn't track exactly where the truck was. It was almost invisible to the computer. Problem 4, the warning system stayed silent. LaGuardia has a computer system called ASDE-X that is supposed to detect when vehicles are in the wrong place and automatically sound an alert. But that night, because the fire truck was close to other vehicles on the screen, the radar showed only blurry shapes. The computer never recognized the danger and never gave a warning. 4 problems, 1 terrible crash, a broken system, not just one bad night. Here is something very important to understand. The controller who said, "I messed up," was working in a system that was already stretched too thin. For many years, aviation experts and workers have been warning that America's air traffic control system is understaffed and underfunded. There are not enough controllers. The ones who are working often have to take on extra responsibilities alone, especially late at night. Safety equipment, like transponders on ground vehicles, has not always been kept up to date. Warning systems sometimes don't work the way they're supposed to. When a system has that many weaknesses, accidents don't need a villain. They just need an unlucky night when all the broken pieces line up. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, the U.S. government agency that investigates serious accidents, is now leading the investigation into this crash. Their full report may take more than a year to complete. 2 Canadian pilots, Antoine and Mackenzie, lost their lives. They were skilled professionals who dedicated their careers to safely carrying people through the sky. Their families and all of Canada are mourning, and the rest of the world is asking, what needs to change so this never happens again? Your turn. If you were in charge of making airports safer, what is the first rule you would change or add? Tell us in the comments.